Do I look fat? Good. Hey, it's Videobob, and this is my 2004 Rolls-Royce Phantom. And we've decided to change the wheels. The last couple of videos, I got so many comments, people complaining about the 24-inch DONK wheels that were on the car. I didn't like them either. And I got these wheels off of a Rolls-Royce Ghost. So these are 20-inch wheels. The original should be 21-inch wheels. These are also staggered, meaning they're a little wider in the back than they are in the front. And they were originally chrome, and they've been plasti dipped into black. So my plan was to take them, to have them powder coated properly into a gloss black so that they would be the cool black that I want. I'm not really fond of chrome. I didn't want the chrome. But I don't know, I think that they might be too small. When you look at how the car looked with the large wheels, the car was huge and it was just donked out. So I'd love for you people to comment in the comments and tell me what you think. Make sure that you've watched my other videos, I bought the cheapest Rolls-Royce in the world video, which has got like 1 million views on it. Check that one out if you haven't already. I'll put it in the link description, and then some of my other follow-up videos. And take a look at the way the car was and how it is now, and let me know what you think. Now, before you guys start commenting, I'm wearing a boot on my foot because I have a foot injury, and can't stop rock and roll, so I gotta wear this little boot. So I wanted to get that out of the way before you started commenting. What's going on with your foot? Comments. All right, never mind the DeLorean time machine that I have sitting here. This is a customer's car that we're working on. These are what we do here. We build DeLorean time machines. This is like the 29th car that we've ever built. But I had to take it out of the bay so that we could fit the rolls in there to change the tires. But just right now, I want to show you, as an example, the wheels that we took off the car. Putting on my gloves because I don't want to get my hands dirty. All right. Oh my God. Look at this thing. Jesus Christ. Seriously? So, it's heavy. Yeah. Kind of a difference, eh? I mean, these things were like rubbing the fenders. Oh my God, it's huge. That's what she said. Okay. So, maybe I should just put these on the back. Go full on 70s staggered, hiked in the back. Get some Kragers, dude. Be awesome. So yeah, man, you can tell that there's a huge difference. I mean, this thing hits the fender. Now these wheels are 24-inch wheels, low profile tires. And I gotta say, they really made the car drive like crap. And, but here's a comparison of the two, side by side. So tell me in the comments which wheels you like better. Well, I think the car sits a lot lower, and a lot of people are doing things to try to get their car lower. They're lowering their suspension systems, they're putting on lower profile tires. Well, this certainly lowers the car. It's not as massive as it normally was. You go back and look at those other videos of me standing next to the car, and it's not nearly as tall. And I did take it for a ride, and the first thing I noticed is with the smaller tires, my speedometer is now 10 miles an hour off. It says I'm going 70 when I'm only going 60. So there's a calibration that's gonna have to be done. That's gonna have to happen. And, but I did notice it rode so much smoother. You know, you guys that put these oversized wheels on your cars, you don't realize the amount of stress that you're putting on the suspension, the bushings, your drive shaft couplers, your transmission, all of those things. You're over torquing it. And now with a motor like this, that's a V12, that has something like 500-600 pounds of torque, it could probably handle it without a problem. But I noticed immediately when I put these wheels on, it took off faster, and it had a faster kind of 0 to 60. Well, as a follow-up to my last video about this car where a drunk driver hit my front left door, I still have not gotten this fixed. Why, you ask? Well, because the other driver had Allstate insurance. I have State Farm insurance. Now, I'm going to give them an unsolicited plug. I've never had a problem with State Farm. They pay out and take care of their customers like that. I didn't file the claim with my own State Farm. I'm filing it against the other driver's insurance, which is Allstate. And it's now been going on 2 weeks, and they have just jerked me around every which way from Sunday. This adjuster said, well, I looked on the computer and there's no listing for Rolls-Royce in our system, so I used the Mercedes-Benz instead. So I'm estimating about $900 worth of repair for your door, because that's what it would cost to go to some crap shop where they put Bondo on the door and they spray paint over it at Earl Scheid. And I said, listen, dude, this is a Rolls-Royce and the entire car is made by hand. It's all made out of aluminum. This door is all aluminum, and on the other side of this door is a large metal bracing to protect from side impacts. And then all of the surfaces of the interior panels are covered with like a Dynamat, you know, like a sound deadening insulation material. So if you wanted to buy just the skin of this door, that's about $8,000. Okay? Which doesn't include the things like the handles and the mirrors and the trim and the glass and all that stuff. Just the metal parts. The only robotic process that Rolls-Royce uses when they're making their cars is the paint, because they do the best paint job in the world. They have their robots paint the car 6 times, 6 layers of paint and 2 layers of clear, and then it's hand polished for 5 hours by a team of people to get the perfect paint job. Now, this car's been wrapped in vinyl, black and white. So I explained to this guy, you're gonna have to remove the vinyl, and you can't color match vinyl. You can't blend it in. Once if you went and put new vinyl here, it would look completely different than that. You'd be able to tell a difference. So they're gonna have to unwrap the entire car, which is gonna cost about $1,000. They're gonna have to rewrap the car, which is gonna cost about $5,000. However it is they fix this door is gonna require painting, not to mention the back door as well. And if they have to replace the door for $8,000, or if they do a paint, some sort of other, there's no way to do a paintless dent repair on this, but if they do a stud welded pull-out method where they use a glaze over it, they're still gonna have to repaint the door. So my estimation was anywhere from between probably about $15,000 to $20,000 to up to $30,000 to $40,000, depending on if Rolls-Royce decides to replace the doors. Rolls-Royce doesn't use Bondo. If I go to the Rolls-Royce dealer, which I have to, by the way, Park Place Rolls-Royce in Dallas, I'm a little miffed at them. I called them to bring the car in for an estimate. They said I had to pay them a $500 deposit up front for them to give me an estimate on the car that they'll take off the bill later. Give me a break, guys. Yeah, I know, cry me a river. Poor guy with the Rolls-Royce is complaining about having to fix it. Well, you know, listen, I'm not the guy who wrecked it. I was parked and this guy ran into me, and now I have to pay for it. And yes, I know I bought an expensive car, and people are gonna comment and say, well, you bought a money pit. Hey, it wouldn't matter what car I was in. I could have been in any one of my many cars, and a guy runs through a red light and hits your car. It doesn't matter whether you're driving a Kia or a Rolls-Royce, it's the same bunch of BS. These cars are getting a lot cheaper because this car is now 15 years old. I bought it for 20% of its value at $65,000. And in that time, I put a water pump on there, which was a $100 part. I'm gonna have to replace the brake pads and rotors, which you have to do on any car. It was a little bit more expensive. It's a few $1,000s, but considering the fact that it's a $350,000 luxury car and I have to spend a few $100 more on my brakes than I would on just a regular car, these are some of the prices you have to pay. The things that get really expensive is when you need to do things like these grills or these trim rings or headlights. You know, those things can be really expensive if you have a major collision. But the car itself has been really good. I've been driving the thing since I bought it every day as my daily driver. Fantastic. I love this thing. It's so much fun. I love driving this thing, and I really enjoy it. And I really recommend that if it's something that you really want, you should go for it. Go for your dreams and get one. They're fantastic cars, but I am finding there's not that much community for them. You know, I went on to some of the Rolls-Royce forums on Facebook, most of which are there to support the previous generation of Rolls-Royce. So for those of you that don't know, back in 1998, Rolls-Royce was purchased by a combination of both BMW and Volkswagen. Now Volkswagen bought basically the name rights and BMW bought the rights to the car. So BMW had to buy the name rights from Volkswagen for like $40 million or something ridiculous. And now BMW started making the car. Before that, they were made in Crewe, and they weren't made like this at all. They were a completely different car with different engines, different frames, different everything. BMW came along and used some of their components, made the car completely out of aluminum. I think it's a much better car. And the proof of that is in the pudding, because when I go searching for resources on this car, there really aren't any. There's not a single video of anybody changing the oil or doing any basic work on this car. So it's really hard to find hardly any information out there about the thing. So I'm looking forward to making some of those videos here with you. When we do the brakes here soon, I'm gonna document that. We're gonna do oil changes, transmission fluid and filter changes, and all kinds of stuff. Jesus Christ, it's windy out here. I need a kite. Stop it, I'm trying to make a video. All right, a little bit more of a follow-up. I wish I had documented this more, but I wanted to install a dash cam. I got the Blackview 900, the 4K 2-channel dash cam. There's one in the front and one in the back. I got that because I went to a Walmart like a fool the other day, and some numbnuts had jumped up on the hood of the car and took a picture. Now, I didn't see it happen, but I saw the footprints on my hood. Now, thankfully, this thing is built like a tank, and it didn't actually hurt anything. But this sumbitch crawled up on top of my car, planted his feet right in the middle, and took a picture. It's probably now in a rap video. We know what's going on. So now, I've got this 4K Wi-Fi cloud-connected camera in the front and one in the back. But how to hook it up? Well, this lower section here houses nothing more than the fuse panel and a CD changer, which the CD changer isn't hooked up anyway, because I have an adapter from a company called Denshin, which is from Germany. They make an iPod adapter that interconnects with various different cars, and they make one that works with the Rolls-Royce. So I have this iPod connector that I can plug my phone into, and I can control it with my steering wheels. So if I set my CD player to CD changer, it will control my phone, and I can listen to music that way, which I can also listen to Sirius XM on the app, or listen to my Apple iTunes or whatever. So but I pulled out the CD changer, I dropped this lower compartment, all these panels here, and the fuse panel is there, and I needed to tap into a powered source that was on all the time. So that's what we did. We tapped into that, and I fished the wires up under there. And so now I have this dash cam. It runs 24/7, and it has a thing called a Power Magic Pro, which will shut it down if the battery gets down to like 11 volts. But the cool thing about a Rolls-Royce is it has two batteries. It has one battery just for the car, for starting it, and then another battery for all the coach stuff. So you could sit here in the car with the lights on and the fan blowing and watching TV or whatever you want to do, and you'll still always be able to start the car because the two battery systems are isolated. They knew that chauffeurs and things would be sitting in this car, listening to the radio, maybe have the fan on. Matter of fact, it even has, I talked about this in one of my other videos, it has a timed feature where you can program it to like twice a day come on and blow the fan for like 20-30 minutes just to freshen it up and cool it down, or keep the must out of it, you know, when it's parked. These cars are designed to be parked for long periods of time. It actually has a charging port in the back with a special charger so you can plug it in the wall, because they know a lot of the owners who own these things, they only drive them once in a while. They put them in their collection, in their garage, and they plug them in and they keep them fresh that way. So I still got to put all this back together. I'm sorry I didn't really document it. I didn't think it was that important, but I now have access to this whole system, and I also have the ability to put in auxiliary audio and things. So I've been thinking about changing out this, and this old iDrive system I've been wanting to get rid of for a long time, and I contacted a company called NavTool, and they have notorious bad reputation for just not delivering stuff that doesn't work. I ordered the thing, I waited 2 months, and finally I insisted on a refund because they would not deliver what I paid for. But they're supposed to deliver a box that interconnects between the two and then lets you have Apple CarPlay on the existing system. The problem is they can't get it to actually work, and they can't actually deliver it to anybody. And yet to find anybody who actually has one. So if you have one of these nav tools in your Rolls-Royce Phantom, please comment below and tell me if it works and if you ever got it. Because even on their website, they don't even have a video of them actually installing it in a car. I think it's all theory. Well, crazy enough, one of the ideas I'm thinking about doing is removing this entire thing and replacing it with a double DIN head unit. Because I measured it and it happens to be probably planned that way, the exact size of a double DIN head unit. The problem is you have to be able to access the video from the iDrive system in order to set certain settings in the car, like the tire pressure monitoring and other functions of the vehicle. So the only way it would work is if I could figure out how to tap the video coming out of the iDrive and run it as a video input into an auxiliary of the head unit that I could pull up, still operate the iDrive to make settings, and then go back to the head unit. But I don't need to use the amplifier of the head unit because there's like a $15,000, 15 speaker, lexicon, whatever, stereo system in here. I don't want to change that. I just want to change the input and the screen. So I'm trying to come up with ways to do that. Now I've seen some of these dummies, cut this whole thing out and put a head unit there. That's not smart. I want to maintain the steering wheel controls and all those kind of things. I just need to be able to get this to work. And so if you have any experience with that, with BMWs or specifically the Rolls-Royce Phantom, please comment below, or if you know anybody who's done it, because I haven't been able to find any decent resources of anybody who can do it. It's very rare for somebody to mess with this car, quite frankly. They generally try to leave it as stock as possible for collectability. But really, the only difference between an old Phantom and a new Phantom is really the dash and the headlights. I mean, they changed the front wings and headlights a little bit, and it's basically the same car. There's a few subtle things that the new cars have adaptive cruise control and lane assist and heads up and some really cool technology, don't get me wrong. But the overall aesthetics are pretty close to the same. And if I could just upgrade this head unit for having Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay and all those things, it would be pretty much like any modern car. Well guys, thanks for watching my video. If you are into Rolls-Royce Phantoms or DeLorean time machines or Knight Riders or Ghostbusters or any of that kind of stuff, this is the place for you. I'm Videobob. You might want to consider subscribing and hitting that notification button. And I know every YouTuber begs you to do that, but I'll tell you why that's important is if you want to be notified when we put out a video, because sometimes you've caught my video from a recommendation, and because of the weird algorithms, it doesn't end up in there. So if you really truly like this channel, your subscription and notification will help you stay informed. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff to that car, and we're going to be finishing up this car real soon and working on another one for a really special client. Next week, I'm flying out to California to the Ghostbusters Fan Fest put on by Wizard World. And Dan Aykroyd's going to be there, Ivan Reitman, Jason Reitman, Ray Parker Jr., my good friend Ernie Hudson, and all this kind of stuff. All the Ghostbuster fans are going to be there, and it's going to be fun, and I'll be there out in LA also. So hit me up if you want to hang out or whatever, and I'll see you out there. And then coming up in a couple of weeks, we're going to be at the Celebrity Fan Fest down in San Antonio with all of our vehicles on display. So if you want to come out and meet me, see some of the cars, I'll put some links in the video description. All right, till next time, I'll catch you later. I'm Videobob. Thanks for watching.